Welcome to part 5. Well, I wish, just like you, that this project was moving a bit more swiftly, but we all have to be patient. I'm trying to do something that's not too many people have done before, and I'm learning as I'm going along. So, where have we got to? Well, I finally managed to find some nuts and bolts that were appropriate, more by accident than anything else, and I've made a former. And this is how it looks. Now, I'm hoping this is going to be the final former I make for this. I made about 4, and the thing I've learned from doing this project is, looking at this, is had I put more thought into it, I would have not have put the front former B1 onto this. I would have left it off, because then I could have made a full former and just slid it on. So that's my recommendation. Leave the front former off and then make your former, slide it on. Now what I have done is I've taken a cocktail stick, or some people call it a toothpick. I've cut it at 6mm and put these in place. Now, I was highly tempted to put this former at 4 degrees tilt like this, and then I thought to myself, how easy or difficult is it to measure 4 degrees tilt like that? And I also took the plan and copied it onto a easy manoeuvrable sheet of A4, which did help a lot. The plan is a little bit big for doing this, so I figured it all out. So I came to the conclusion that what I would do is make the former so it goes in absolutely dead level, and then just use the cheating old method of putting some washers into this side to tilt it down. And guess what? I did use a protractor. So for those of you who are earnestly looking into this, it comes in about 3.5 degrees, 4 degrees. So I ended up using 3 washers either side. I did use a nut, but that came out at 5.5 degrees, and that would have been just a little bit too much. So let's have a look. I don't want to put this into the frame just yet because it is a little bit fiddly. Just want to add, it's not worth me trying to get the bottom to fit into there, because to do that I'd have to cut that to make it do it, and I don't want to weaken it, and I just don't think it's worth it. Yes, you could reinforce it back up again, but at the moment I can get this in and I can get it out. I'm just not going to do it on camera right now because it just takes up a little bit of time. So it's going to look like that. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to look like that in the end. So it's about right. Is it right? Yeah. There you go. So it just misses cowl. Yeah, well, it looks all right from where I am anyway. It's just it's difficult to do this and hold the camera at the same time, so it's just going to miss that cowl just like that and pop out at the right place, hopefully. So that's where we're at. So that has taken me, oh wow, quite a while. Don't forget to pop this in. This is I can't remember. It's 5mm wide. What was the width again? Yeah, it's 12 millimeters long by 5 millimeters wide, so these can go in and out without having to mess about. These are all symmetrical, and what I did do was I took a compass, found the middle, did a circle, and then squared all that off and got these holes in absolutely bob on. So it's just a case of putting the washes in, so it will look like that. There you go. And then your ESC will go underneath for the moment. That's where I'm planning at the moment. That's where it's going to go. I will pop this in, and I will only very lightly glue it, because I might change my mind about something. I want to take it out again without having to break it or cut it. Just put a little bit of sino on using a toothpick, just so it stays there until I get the other formers on and see how that pans out. I have carved out I have carved out the front there to accommodate that circle there. So that's where we are with that. What's happening with the camera now? It's going out on its own. I wonder where it's going to stop. Probably it's not going to stop. I have got the 1.7 gram servos, and there's a reference number and everything should you wish to purchase these for yourself. These are for the ailerons. I do realise that with the ailerons, the learn English please, where the struts come up, it's right on the very corner where I want to put the ailerons in, so I've got to put a bit more thought into that. But I just want to get past this bit. I'll worry about the wings a little bit later, but at least these have turned up now, and if I do get stuck I can start the wings. I have managed to buy my wood, so I've got that as well, and in case I have any more problems, I did buy these, an extra pack of these, so it's cost me about £2.50 or something. So if I want to change the motor or anything else like that, I have the pins. So that's where we're at with that, and that's the progress so far. And thank you very much for your comments, very kind comments coming through, and we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to call it a night for tonight. Right, I think this is okay to stop now. What I have done is I've put some Vaseline on the threads of the screws and super glued in or cyanoed in the nuts. So for whatever reason, if I need to take these out, they should go back in okay, no problem at all. Now, moving swiftly on, I put some of the formers in. This was actually easier than I anticipated. If you just put the fuzz on its side and then use your right angle, which is that, I'm using that. I don't have any metal squares, so I have to use a right angle. So I did slightly enlarge the gap there so the battery would go in. Actually, I need to try that. Try as a fit. I wonder if I can do it while I'm holding the camera at the same time. Don't know. Anyway, hang on. Oh, there you go. So that, yeah, that fits. Now obviously I don't want all the battery to go in. I need to be able to get it out again. I think I'll leave this space free. I can't see any other reason to go any further than that just for now. Now I have to start thinking about taking this section out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the formers for that to go on the inside, so that when I come to chop it out they slot in. So I think that's what I'll be doing next, rather than carrying on putting the rest of these forms all the way along. And then I know I'm getting somewhere then. And then of course I've got to get this firewall into there, which I think will go in fairly easy before I put this former in here. But like I said, I think if I was doing this from scratch again, I'd leave this former off for now. I'll probably make this a slightly different shape, but anyway, it is what it is, and that's where we're at now. So I'll crack on and copy these 3 formers here and look at making that hatch, or making it into a hatch. There we go. Well, update. Now I'm just going to move the camera around here, and there's a drawing. That's how closely I've got the motor to match the drawing. So that took quite a lot of effort, I have to say. I didn't think it was going to be that as big a task as that. So I haven't sanded any of this. There's nothing been sanded at all, and I have to do it. But what did I do? Well, in short, I put 6mm spacers in here. Now, okay, I got this one wrong. I'll put my hands up to that. I went to quite a lot of effort to make this firewall here for the motor. And despite all my calculations and measurements, I got it wrong twice. And I thought, okay, so I've glued it in place and used the Dremel to cut a little notch in here. I didn't want to touch the bottom because I just don't think it needs it. That'll be quite secure. Now, I've not at this stage glued this in. I've left it loose just for now because I've got a few more things to do. And I have to say that you're going to have to treat this with kit gloves because it hasn't got the stringers in, and you're going to knock off formers. I've knocked off the formers a couple of 3 times, and it just takes a lot of patience and effort to not accidentally destroy it. I've also cut out the front former around the top of the motor here. Yes, I've got to sand all this down, so that is now free and easy to move. It's I'm not even sure if it's touching, but I just thought, well, I better cut it out anyway. You can see the platform there for the battery. So the battery goes in, it sticks out here, and I can just gingerly pull it out. Well, I hope I can anyway, with the top wing on. On reflection, maybe I should have took it down to here. I don't know, but it's a bit late now. So, as I said, I've not glued this part in yet. So, let's see. That's what we have. That's the skeleton. I've not tried this in at all. There you go. So I've got to put some magnets in. I think that's probably all it's going to need, really. So it's quite close fitting. Yeah, it should be okay. What I did do was I added. Okay, yeah, I know it's going to add weight, but I added this piece in here because it's so fragile. You know, I'm going to break it for firstly, and I need to put some integral strength into it, and also it just finishes that face off, to be honest with you, and it does give a lot of strength to it all. Now, you may have noticed I've put the servo tray in. Now, originally I was going to put these upside down, but then I thought, well, I won't be able to make any adjustments if I cover this, because when you go on the field there's always something you got to do. So I thought, right, I'll put the servos this way up, and one of the calculations I did do that was correct was putting that 3mm drill bit through all the different formers to get the snake in, and it's come up absolutely bob on both sides for the rudder and the elevator. Now I've not glued these in yet, but you can see that, you know, once I pull this back to about there, and on this one as well, if I can do it, about there, that's going to work out quite well. And then they come out on the tail end there. So at this moment, I'm quite pleased with that. So anyway, I'll take the cage out. Yeah, so I put the servos where they are, so I don't have to put a hatch in to adjust them. I can just pull the pilot out, and you know, I'll have him on Velcro or something, and I'll just pull the pilot out and make whatever adjustments I need to make, so at least got some sort of access to it, and they'll be well hidden. The pilot will be up here, quite out of their way. So now the cables are more than long enough to reach the receiver, and I have the ESC here that go in. I could do with a smaller one. I'll have to look into it. The smallest I can find online is a 12 amp. I'll have to, I mean, I can get it in. I'll try and get a smaller one if I can, but if I can't, I can't. And I'll carry on with that. So there's the connections for the motor, and they quite neatly go through there. So I'm not far away from putting the stringers in, but I do need to do some sanding. I do need to put this in, glue it in. Now here's the thing, I've had to go back to work, so my videos will become a little more infrequent, and so you're going to have to wait a bit longer to see the finished product. On reflection, I suppose what I should have done is I should have made this model and then just drip feed videos on how to do it and pretend I was doing it in real time, but I've ended up doing it in real time, and I'm not really sure if that was a good idea or not. But anyway, there we are. So if you don't see my videos popping up regularly, it's because I'm earning a crust. So, oh blimey, I've damaged that. Look at that, I've damaged that just by talking to you. Anyway, I can deal with that, it's not a problem. So that's where we're at now. So what is the next step? Well, the next step I think is to probably get some stringers on the underneath. I'll add some bracing on the tail to accommodate the elevator, or the stabilizer if you like. Stabilizer elevator. Then I'll probably start putting stringers on the bottom, and then give it a jolly good sanding, which is not a small thing. It takes quite a while to do sanding, and you need to make sure that you've got somewhere to get rid of the dust and everything else, so a bit of ventilation as well. So I'm quite pleased about how the motor's turned out. It seems to be in the correct position and the correct 4% 4 degrees down nose. So I think I can start gluing up a bit more now, and that's where we're at. So hats off to Larry. Okay, there's not really much more to tell you right now, but you know, if you're thinking about doing this, I have to admit there's a lot more to converting this than I had originally thought. The general construction of the Guillows kits always seems to be the same. They have these two braces here, one at the top and bottom, and it's never changing, which is why when I first started these videos on the Guillows SE5a, I made copies of the formers because I think I could probably make a better construction of my own design. But I have, it is what it is, and we're going to try and do it and try and make it fly. I think what I need to do is wait for the summer when there's some long tall grass, so that if this goes wrong, it lands in the long tall grass and any damage will be minimal. Knowing me, I'll get impatient and try and do it before then, but if I do, we'll see what the result is. So there we are, that's where we're at now, and so I will see you on the next one, and let's see how far I get and how different it is. But you really need to treat this like it's made of glass. It's absolutely as fragile as anything. It's difficult to explain how fragile it is while it's in this state. Once it's got the stringers on, it's not so bad. There's a lot of strength to it. But then, of course, you've got to watch handling it because you'll break the stringers. Knowing my luck. Okay, so that's where we are, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm bored. Blah! Bored. I'm bored. Nah.